Another episode of Chicken Bone Alley presented by SRI Performance. Stock car, steel, and aluminum.
Baker Springs. What's up, everybody? I'm Sterling. How y'all doing?
I'm David. I hope all y'all had a good Memorial Day weekend.
Absolutely right.
And I hope y'all took time to actually remember what Memorial Day weekend is about for all our fallen soldiers that have selflessly given their lives for the country that we love and for us to do the things that we love to do. So we want to send out a thank you to all those soldiers and to their families.
Yep, thank y'all very much. Absolutely right, man. We had us a festive weekend.
We did have a festive weekend.
We went down to the lake. We went down to Santee, to the Atlantic Ocean, pretty much.
That's what it was. I'm pretty sure the Atlantic Ocean was calmer than Santee was.
I think it was, because it was. I mean, there was about 8-foot seas out there, and it wasn't nothing but for boats. There was a pile of boats out there. You could not move.
There was a lot of them.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna celebrate Memorial Day weekend a week later next year.
Yeah,
because
I warned you.
It was horrible. It was horrible. But we had a good time. We did. We went down to the campground and we hung out with everybody, and we got out a little bit and rode some. And David and myself, we went fishing Sunday morning. Done pretty well.
Early Sunday morning.
Yeah, we went early before everybody was out there, and found some beds on our old Humminbird Helix 9, which works great. I'm gonna go and tell everybody, just hey, if you're into fishing a little bit, get you one of them bad boys. You can find the beds, but I promise you can find them. We done well.
Messages, we'll send you the settings for it that you need to see it.
Absolutely right. Yeah, we got them. We finally got them figured out, and I tell you what, as far as lakes go, we can find a bed. We can find the beds for sure.
We can find some brimps. Yeah, we had fun.
We did that. We had a cornhole tournament.
And
David won.
David won.
And guess who came in second? Sterling's team.
You know what sucked though?
Mr. Johnny.
You know what sucked though? I was thinking about this. I really didn't think about it at the time, but I thought about it probably yesterday, maybe. You know, I'll tell y'all this story. We was up there and we did a. There was how many teams? 7 teams.
There were 7 teams.
7 teams, yeah, and
we
did a double elimination tournament.
Yeah.
And it was $10 a person, so we had a little bit of money in it. It's $20 a team.
I didn't have any money.
You didn't have money?
I was sponsored, so I didn't have any money.
Chicken Bone Alley sponsored Sterling to play cornhole, I guess.
Appreciate it.
I thank my sponsors. But anyway, so I'm out there playing, and I'm playing all right, playing pretty good. And we throwing. Well, it gets down to the last game. And the last game, we'd already played Sterling and his partner one time and beaten him one time.
I let him in. I didn't want to feel bad, you know.
Is that what it was?
Pretty much.
Well, then that was their only one loss. So it comes back around. We're playing them in the finals.
Well, yeah, we went to the losers championship. And won that damn
Y'all won the loser championship.
We won that.
Guess who went undefeated? This guy.
Ain't nobody caring about that.
This guy, my partner.
But then I'm proud of y'all. Y'all did really well.
We drew for teams because me and Sterling probably would have been on a team.
We'd have been on teams and we'd lost first 2, so we was tired.
Probably.
We were going to take a nap, but we didn't. So we ended up staying the whole damn time, which was like 4 hours.
But
play cornhole, and it was 830 degrees.
It was hot.
Yeah, that was us.
Anyway, back to my story. Is, you know, we get up there and we're throwing and stuff, and all of a sudden we just hear boom. And I look over there. We got a field kind of over there that they park all the boats and everything in. And all of a sudden I just see parts just flying straight up in the air.
Way up in there.
Well, we're literally on our last couple throws here. Well, what does everybody do?
Not, but yeah, we were.
What does everybody do? They leave.
So we're just there. We're just playing. Just the 4 of us.
So
whole campground's going to the boatyard.
So me and my partner win, and nobody's there to see it.
That's sad. I hate it. I apologize. I saw it.
I'm glad
y'all
done
good. Y'all get a star.
Well, anyway, one of my guy I know down there, he was putting fuel in his jet ski, and the jet ski blew the F up.
While he was sitting on it.
Well, he leaned over it.
Leaning over it. trying to crank it. Yeah.
It shot parts literally probably, I don't know, 50, 60 foot up in the air.
Way up in there. The seat went, I know it went 50 foot in there.
At least.
I promise you.
And he went, fortunately, I don't really know. There was the jet ski, the spot beside him, there was like a little utility trailer. And then on the other side, that was a truck parked. Well, he flew completely over the utility trailer and hit the truck.
Yeah, he jacked up. I think the fire extinguisher, which is kind of ironic, the fire extinguisher hits him in the head, just boom, and knocks him out.
That's about where it was landed. Sure, he was talking about his jaw was hurting, but he was actually, other than some burns and scrapes,
I think he was
his jaw hurting. Other than that, he was all right. I talked to him the next day. He was good to go.
Yeah.
And I'm glad he's all right because
I'll tell you bad. What, that was a hell of a boom. I can promise you that. It was loud. It was loud. We were probably 150 yards away from it when it happened.
Yeah.
And it was loud. But anyway, like I said, he was all right. That's good. Jet ski's not. It's done.
Jet ski is totaled. It's done. It blew every cover.
Major fiberglass work. All I can tell you.
If there was a cover or a compartment or anything on it, it blew off. I mean, just exploded, and it busted the hole all to pieces and all that fun stuff.
No good at all.
So it was rough.
It was, but so we're going back a little bit forward. You know, everybody, we've said it before. We own On Our Sounds, which is a DJ company. Also, we play music and we play guitar. We drink beer and we sing a little bit.
But we typically just do that for the fun of it.
Well, exactly. So we set up and we got a little shed there at the campground. It's a nice little place, like a little 30 by 30 covered little deal. And everybody pulls the golf carts up and all the little kids get out and dance and play a little bit. So from like 8 to 10, we played good dance music. All the little kids got out and danced and had a good time. And then we played after not playing guitar for about 4 months probably, which is not very smart of us.
No.
We decided to play a 2.5 hour set. And still right now my fingers on my left hand are done. They are hurt. So we had a good time there. Everybody seemed to enjoy it. David did very well singing. He did.
Sterling did good play.
I hummed a little bit in the chorus parts.
He's a pick and I'm a grinning.
There you go. Hey, I was
picking around too, but you know.
Oh yeah, we all do it together, and it actually turned out pretty good. Without not a whole lot of practice, so wasn't too bad. But anyway, we had a good time. So that's pretty much all our Memorial Day, and then we decided to celebrate David's wife's birthday down there at the lake.
I know it's a little late, but everybody tell my wife, Kayla, happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
She's 40 yesterday. Everybody,
yeah.
So, but
actually, I'll tell y'all, she is 33.
Good job.
33. There we go.
That's awesome. Yeah, she's doing good. She looks 23, so she is doing good. So I don't look. I'm the other way. So, but anyway, we sat there and we started. We were planning on coming back Sunday night, so I was gonna come back home. I had stuff to do Monday and all whatever, but I was tired too because we didn't sleep much at all the night before, whatever, and got up and fished and all. So me and Dave, we sat there and watched. Started the 600. Watched probably 40 laps or so, and
probably.
I got ready to leave. I got in the truck, and it was raining. I was like, well, damn. So I was going to listen to the race on the way home. Well, I couldn't do that. So I got home. It was about an hour or so, hour and 20 minutes before I got home, whatever. And sat down in my chair and started back racing. That was perfect. I watched 3 minutes of it. I fell asleep.
Done.
Like, damn, I didn't get to watch the race. I wanted to watch it.
Don't it always suck? And I know is what we always picked about our dads doing years ago.
Yeah.
Like, they watch the first 10 laps, fall asleep, and they wake up for the last 5.
Yes.
See, and to me, I always thought it was funny, but now I just think it sucks. I'm like, I wanted to see all that.
I wanted to watch race.
I
thought about it all day. I was excited. You know what? I'm going to get home. I'm going to get my chair. I'm going to get my shower. I'm going to get my chair. I'm going to kick back and watch the race.
There's the first mistake, though. Getting in the chair.
I should have stood up. That's what should happen.
Getting in the chair is the first mistake.
That is it. That's the last and the first. That's all in together. But yeah,
both of them.
But anyway, I kind of watched some of the highlights of it. But Start with, Bub, I'm going to tell you, everybody sees it, everybody's heard about it, is Denny Hamlin losing weight. God, massive. That's a bad mistake, bro. That's a big penalty.
And the bad thing is this is the one race, the one and only that they're even going to allow for I don't know how long that they actually qualified. So
I know it.
You know, not only did them guys go over them cars for qualifying, they also, I guess, were allowed to look over some things, you know, after qualifying. I would assume.
You would think. You would think. I don't know what they did with them. They don't really show it, but I don't know, man. To me, that race car, that cup car, and that technology they have, there should be no possible way that any weight should fall off of that race car. There should be no possible way, because the I don't know what that thing weighs. Probably 20 pounds, 30 pounds.
I don't know. See that dude pick it up. It looked like it weighed 100 pounds.
So the possibility of another driver hitting that weight at 190 mile an hour that's devastating.
Well, it happened. I think it was Xfinity Series, but it happened.
It hit the car. It didn't hit the person.
Right, that's what I'm saying. It hit the car and it just destroyed the car.
Oh yeah,
it's been years ago.
But I mean, if that flies out going down the straightaway and there is spectators in there, and it gets knocked up in the stands, how? To me, I don't. You know, okay. There's supposedly in the frame rail, those weights slide up in the frame rail, and there's a bolt that goes in front and back that holds that weight in, from what I can understand. I haven't seen it, but that's what I read. All right. Well, David brought up a good point. Why not make a dummy bolt? Why not make 2 bolts front and back? It's very unlikely that a grade 8 bolt is going to break both of them at the same time.
Especially, you know that one will hold it already, so why not just put 2?
Put 2. Well, okay. All right. That aside, if that's not susceptible, make it built into the chassis.
Yeah.
You know, they're not moving weight. They know where weight's going in them cars now. So I don't know. It's just I just think in the technology that they have now, they should definitely be able to make sure that don't happen. But they're going to be under a big fine, I'm sure, which they are, I guess now. I think 3 or 4
I think it was like a
crew members
suspension for 4
weeks, I think. Yeah, which means nothing. We talked about this yesterday. It means nothing because the technology that they have now, taking away a crew chief, taking away an engineer, taking away a car chief, doesn't do anything.
Well, it was just like they showed on during the 600. They literally showed this. They could only have so many people at the track, and so Jimmy Johnson's, I think he was a shock specialist who was an engineer.
Oh yeah,
was sitting at the shop. They had a camera on him on the computer with his phone sitting there going. Yeah. With speakerphone, telling them everything they needed to know because he had live data coming to his computer. Yeah. So guess what? The crew chief, the car chief, the whatever the lead engineer, guess what they're going to be doing?
Exactly
the exact same thing.
Exactly.
What are they losing?
They're not losing anything.
They're probably getting better because they're sitting there in quiet and completely focused on it.
Exactly.
They're not hearing race cars just and worrying about pit stops at that exact moment or worrying about cars coming down. They're letting other people deal with that. So they're focused.
Exactly.
That's exactly what that car is doing. So
they're not losing anything.
No, they're not losing a thing. It's like me and Sterling were talking about, and I kind of thought the idea was crazy when they first come up with it. I was like, it's getting too much like sticking ball sports or whatever. But I'm kind of for the penalty box deal now. Take whoever is suspended for these, tell them to come to the track. You got to come, or either they can sit in Charlotte at NASCAR Hall of Fame or headquarters, or wherever they want to go, wherever they want to do it. But they put them in a room. They can watch the race. They can sit there with a scanner if they want to, but then no interaction,
no Sayer device, no whatever. They cannot interact. Yeah, it's sad. It's got to get to that, but technology has grown so much that these cars are so dependent on technology that. There's no way you can stop it. You cannot stop the interaction with people.
No, unless you stick them in a room, you cannot do it.
You cannot do it.
But even with that being said, these cars got what they got pretty much when they come from the shop now.
Oh, yeah.
And they literally change a few pounds of springs during testing or, during practice, but they're not even having practice right now. So literally all they're going to change at the track is some
packers,
some heights, some packers,
shit,
some spring rubbers, or possibly, tire pressure. That's all they're going to do.
Well, I mean, that's all. That's all they ever do, really.
Yeah.
I mean, they unload, literally unload, pretty much ready to go because they done had them on the 7-post on the chassis dyno for the left shop. So, I mean, there's really no need in practice.
No,
really no need in it, and I like it. I like it. Chase Elliott, I've heard a lot of them say they like no practice because.
Go ahead.
Well, I mean, it takes away from. It takes away from that engineer standpoint.
Yeah.
It takes away from that somewhat because, okay, yes, engineers set up the cars at the shop. Okay, they do. Well, there's going to be times they're going to get them wrong.
Oh, yeah.
And, like Chase said, it kind of takes that perspective away when they get to the track and the conditions are different. It rains. Say it's a day race. It's a day race. It rains. Okay. It pushes them back to running at night. All right. I'm sure something's got to change more than wedge, more than tire pressure in them cars. Well,
I would.
It makes them back up and punt a little bit, and I like that because it's not just them drivers getting in there and sitting in there and driving with one hand, which is what they want to do.
No, yeah,
and most of them, some of them don't, but I like to see that more, and I want to see him. I hate all this virus thing happen, and I hate how all this stuff came about. But at the same time, I love it because it's giving NASCAR a chance to test a lot of things. It's giving them a chance to test one-day events. It's giving them a chance to test weekday racing. It's giving them a chance to test no qualifying, which, I'm against the no qualifying deal, but at the same time, I also like the invert. I love the fact of the invert. Yeah. That's really cool because it shows, like tonight. Hopefully they're going to be able to race this Wednesday recording, but, invert top 20. Take the fastest top 20 and invert them, and it gives you a lot more interesting stage one, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, the only problem is with that is, guys aren't going to go out there and give it all they got just because they know what's going to get inverted at that point. I say draw for it.
Well, I agree. Don't announce a draw. Don't announce a draw. And that happens in dirt racing. I mean,
exactly.
And I love that. That's cool. You might invert 20 this week. You might invert 5 this week. You don't know. And I think it makes for a lot more interesting. I know I've heard Dale Jr. talk about it. He likes the invert. It's more Saturday night style racing. Showing up the day of in racing. I love it. I love the fact of no practice. I do like that to an extent. I think they need a 15-minute, 30-minute at most session, one, to shake the car down and make sure there's no loose weights or whatever. But I like the shortened week, man. I do.
Well, yeah, I do too. You talk about the invert. In my opinion, on the invert, I like an invert, but the invert only works on a short race. Especially in these stages, the way they got the stages going, it kind of nullifies the invert.
Well, when you have time for pit stops and a full fuel run in one stage, yes, it does. Yeah. Now, if they can back up that first stage to being a short run,
oh yeah,
then I see where that invert will make a difference.
Yeah.
But I agree with you there. They've got to change that first stage in order to make that invert means something
Right.
if it's a long run race, because like the 600 was 100 lap, I think, or I think it was 100. I think it was 100 lap.
Yeah, well, it was
stage
actually
one.
in quarters because it's the only race that's in quarters.
It's in
They
four
had
stages. That's
four
right.
stages.
Yeah, you right.
So
I mean, a 100 lap stage, no, that's not going to make any
No.
difference whatsoever. But like tonight, they're running 206 laps or whatever it is. I'm sure that first stage is going to be maybe 50 laps, I would assume. 50, somewhere in that ballpark. So I think it'd make a difference then, because they could probably pretty much get there on one fuel run. So
yeah,
it'll be interesting to see. But going back to the 600, like I said, I saw I saw the first 30, 40 laps, whatever it was, and down at the lake. Saw Denny Hamlin's weight fall out and all that crap happen. I kind of got a good little aspect of who was going to be fast somewhat during the day, but knew it was going to turn tonight, so it was going to change a little bit. And then weather came and kind of postponed everything. But and then I fell asleep, so I don't really know much else about it. So hopefully David can tell us a little bit about that. I know that my fantasy picks that we sat there and picked did not work out because, for one, I left one in the garage that I should not have, and the other got DQ'd. That finished second.
In all honesty, in my opinion, it's just my opinion. From everything I saw, it wasn't all that exciting of a race, and I hate to say it because the 600 is such an iconic race, but it has become into a snooze fest. Really, I mean, them guys are. And I understand it. I understand it 100%. You can't mess up your stuff in the first 400 miles. You can't mess it up in the first 500 miles.
Right.
So they're waiting until the very end of the race to actually race. Yeah. And I understand it.
Oh, yeah.
And but it's just it's not what that race was meant to be. It was meant to be a test, as they said, of man and machine. And the drivers are so comfortable now that there's no test. Brad Keselowski won that race, and even Brett Griffin was talking about. He said he got out of the car, he wasn't even sweating.
No, you're not gonna sweat. You got air conditioning pumping in your helmet.
It's like he's not wore out. He could get back in that car and run another 600 miles if he had to.
Power steering, air conditioning,
and for the most part, there are very, very, very few mechanical failures anymore.
You don't see motor blowing anymore.
You saw Timmy Hills the other night. Timmy Hills blew the other night. That was like that was one of the first I've seen, and that was in the Xfinity race.
Especially the A-class motors, you don't see them blowing.
Right. But no, you don't see motors, and that's what it was. I mean, I remember them going in the garage. Oh, what's wrong with it? Actually trying to diagnose it, and
Ned,
we blew up. Old David Pearson, Silver Fox at Darlington. But anyway, I remember going. They had transmission issues. They had rear end issues. They had, a water pump went out. Something like that. I mean, and I know technology has evolved, and I don't know that it's always for good though, because it just
no. Well, it's not. I
don't know. It just took something out of sport for me.
Well, and even they I heard him talking about, the Xfinity race. The Xfinity race and the truck race was a more exciting race.
Way more exciting.
For one, it was shorter, okay, but I don't have that don't have everything to do with it. The other thing is the package that they have. They got more horsepower than the damn big cup cars.
Cup cars, or as like they say on door bumper, they look like slot cars.
That's what they are.
They're so stuck to the track.
That's all it is. They're so air dependent,
but they can't pass for nothing because they get up behind somebody and can't turn at that point.
Can't do anything. So, I hope that they postpone this next gen car, whatever
reason.
I hope that they take the extra time to make sure that they take all that out. They got to get this air-dependent crap out of it. They got to make it more back in the driver's hands and see, watching these boys in these trucks last night, they had their hands full, man. Well, they were all over the place. And I mean, I love that. That's cool.
They were talking about it, and they were showing it on TV. Matt Crafton wears bright yellow gloves.
Oh, yeah, you can see him working.
And you could see, I mean, that boy looked like his arms were going to be worked to death through that race because his truck just wouldn't handle it. He was fast. He was fairly fast for a while. But his truck just wouldn't, I mean, he was having to drive it up off the corners. So, and I don't know, there's just a lot more said about that to me than, and I liked him, but me and Sterling talked about it so many times. Jeff Gordon was bad for it. He'd say he was wrecking loose all the time. Wrecking loose. They'd show an in-car camera, and the steering wheel might be literally at 12 o'clock. That was his wrecking loose. It wouldn't turn back to 3, 4, 5 o'clock. He'd straighten the steering wheel up for a split second, turn it right back to the left. That was his wrecking loose. And it's gotten worse than that.
Oh, it's horrible now at this point. So, yeah, but we're kind of going back a little bit. They're going to have 7 races in 11 days. It started off with Darlington. And Kyle Busch was going to run all 7 races. He's going to run all Xfinity races and truck races.
Him and Timmy Hill both.
Yeah, Timmy Hill as well. Yeah, absolutely. So, so I know we kind of jumped forward a little bit. We're kind of going back to last Wednesday night. We were started watching the race while we were talking about it, or while we were recording here. But anyway, I swear I think Chase Elliott had a car to beat. He was fast. He was good on restarts. He was good on long runs. He had the car to beat. I really think he did. I really think Hendrick as a whole brought a good package to Darlington for that last week, for the last 2 races, whatever. But anyway, late race restart. Denny Hamlin did not have tires, so he had to stay out. He didn't have tires to take. So he stayed out. Restarted in the lead. I think Chase started second or third, somewhere along in there, and everybody knows it. Kyle misread the gap. Whatever.
Misbrained something. I don't know what he did.
Yeah. And dumped Chase going down straightaway, going into 1.
It looked awful.
It was terrible. I mean, it really was, and everybody, it's we're not going to really harp into that a whole lot. He dumped him, and he didn't mean to, whatever. He was looking up. He was looking at back Kevin Harvick's seat, whatever. It doesn't matter. Bottom line is he dumped him. It was bad. Chase had that race won. There's no doubt about it. There was 28 laps or so left to go. Rain was coming. I think they ended up calling it with 20 to go.
Yeah, Denny Hamlin won it like that.
So,
that was the last green flag lap.
That's it.
Was when
that was it.
Chase got dumped. So,
I know. I feel sure Chase would have had that in the next lap or 2 or next corner or 2. He'd have passed Denny. They had fresh tires. Denny did not. So, I hate that for Chase. He's gonna get his coming soon for sure. And then right after that, then the very next day, the Xfinity race, Thursday. Kyle takes out Chase Briscoe going into 1.
He was on him hard.
I tell you what, man, and Chase, Dave will tell you a little bit more about it, but Chase had a really, really bad week, him and his family. So for him to be able to come up there and battle for the win was really special.
Yeah, if you hadn't heard, him, Chase Briscoe and his wife actually had a miscarriage a couple days before Darlington, and we send thoughts and prayers out to them, because I know it's a terrible situation to have to go through. And but I'm gonna tell you, one of the best ways to come back, and just feel a little better for a little while, because that pain probably never goes away, but just to feel a little better for a little while, is come back and do what he did. Because I'm gonna tell you, not only did he drove that car.
Oh, yes, sir.
Kyle did everything he could, and it was not Kyle's day to pass Chase Briscoe. He almost had him cleared in the middle of 1 and 2. And Chase just said, "I'm not lifting."
No, he didn't.
It don't matter if I'm in a wall or what. I'm not lifting.
Yeah, that was awesome.
He come off 2 sideways and just drug him down the back straight away. Went through 3 and 4, pretty much same thing. Hit the wall off 4. And took it home, took the win.
Yeah, it was awesome. I'll tell you what, It mean a lot to him. I know for that to happen, and like you say, healing that's got to take time. Who knows for them? I hate it for them, but it's got to help somewhat. For him to be able to do that for his family, come up there and win, especially beat somebody like Kyle Busch like he did, was really cool. So, but anyway, so leaving Darlington, and they naturally Kyle ran a 600 wherever he finished. I don't know, top 2, 4, whatever it was. Pretty high up there.
And that one again, Chase Elliott should have won.
And Chase should have won. I swear to God, he cannot catch a break.
I'm gonna tell you what, whatever horseshoe somebody had, they took and twisted and bent.
Well, his teammates.
And filed it down, apparently.
Oh.
And instead of shoving it up his rear end, they apparently stabbed him in the back with it. I don't know what they're doing with it.
I'm tell you what, William Byron and cutting right rears, good Lord, he is catching the devil. I mean, I think that's twice at Darlington and now Charlotte. I don't know, but he sure screwed him up there with what, 3 or 4 to go.
Oh yeah,
and
I don't think. I mean, it wasn't nothing on purpose, but it was.
Oh no, it was
absolute worst timing.
Worst timing for sure. But man, I don't know. There is no possible way I'm gonna give up clean air with 3 to go.
Well, I mean, it's easy for us to sit here and play armchair quarterback.
But I mean, you sit there and watch. You watch Joey Logano.
Exactly. That's what I was about to say. Is everybody saw Joey Logano went out there with similar tires.
Yeah.
Went out there and stayed on the track in one of the previous stages, and I think he ended up winning the stage before or something. I don't know.
He won. They really had 30, 40 laps.
Yeah, on old tires.
It's clean air, man. I mean,
clean air.
That track is not abrasive at all at this point. It looks brand. I mean, I know it's been a while since it's been paved, but it looks brand new still.
Oh yeah,
that track's fine. So I don't understand. I cannot believe Alan brought him in with 3 to go. I really cannot. I swear. So really and truly, Chase should have 2 in a row in the Cup car. That's for sure.
He definitely should.
My opinion, he definitely should. So anyway, going from there, going to the Xfinity cars, which was run on Monday night, Memorial Day night. Kyle Busch was carrying the Appalachian State colors. Started kind of mid-pack, I think it was, and it was like, I don't know, half a lap. He was leading, I believe. He was rolling.
Yeah.
Which that really wasn't to anybody's surprise. I mean, it didn't take long for him to get up there, but I think Austin Cindric gave him a little fight there at the end, which was good.
Yeah.
Good to see for sure. So, but Kyle did pull it off. He did win his 97th or 98th win, I think it was. I don't know, in the Xfinity car.
A whole bunch of them. This just in. This is literally breaking news. Hey, we get breaking news on here, even though y'all not gonna hear it right now. Charlotte Cup race that was supposed to be tonight, which is Wednesday, will now be raced on Thursday night. They're postponing it because of weather, because of the tropical depression,
tropical storm,
Bertha.
We had a tropical storm. I think it's a depression now, but it was a storm when it came.
It was a storm when it hit us there for a while.
We had 30-mile-an-hour winds, but it was terrible.
Was it?
We was about to go home.
I just saw rain.
But no.
It was rain. Anyway, Thursday night. So after y'all listen to this on Thursday, hopefully 7 p.m. on FS1.
Check it out. Go watch it for sure.
Maybe Chase can get that one.
He probably will. He'll be good.
I swear I hope he does.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. But I tell you what, he did. He sure made some noise in the Truck Series race.
He made it look good. And I'm going to tell you what, the Xfinity Series race and the Truck Series race both were some really, really, really good races.
I love to see mile and a half racing that good. I love it.
Well, it's so few and far between. It's awesome when it happens.
I know it.
And apparently, you put those type packages in them, it's good. You put the Cup package in it sucks. So
right.
I hadn't found a track the Cup package is good on personally. maybe road course. Well, even that last year at Sonoma was horrible because of the package.
Well, they changed Sonoma to that stupid freaking different. Well, that screwed it up. That killed it. But yeah, I don't know, man. All I can say is I hope and pray that new X-Gen or next gen, whatever car is going to make a difference. But it's sure screwed up now. But
yeah, go back to the truck race though. Man, that was some good racing.
It was some very good racing. Well, it was cool watching Kyle. You know, I listened to Kyle on the scanner last night, and he started in the back.
We only passed 87 cars.
It was unbelievable. It really was. And you know, he kind of started mid pack to the back. I can't remember where it was exactly, but in the first up until the competition caution, he come up to sixth.
Yeah,
which I mean, it was he passed a pile of cars. All right, well, as soon as the green flag dropped, went in turn one, he said like he was sitting on the splitter on the right front. Didn't know what was going on. He was just dragging the splitter. Well, obviously, wasn't too damn bad to come up to sixth. So anyway, during the competition caution, they came in and they were going to add rubber to the Packer. And you know, me listening to the scanner, I found this out. But so while doing that, they found that the Packer was broke. It's an assembly, is what he was saying. So they replaced the whole assembly and added the rubber. His crew chief, Danny Stockman, decided to do that without telling Kyle. Kyle did not know about that. He did not know that the part was broke during the pit stop. So they got back going, and Kyle asked him after they got back rolling there, kind of, what they do, what they change, whatever. Because if anybody has not listened to Kyle, we've said it before, on the scanner during a race,
especially his trucks,
it's unbelievable because he knows everything to do to that truck. He is very smart with what to do to the truck. But so when he said that, Danny Stockman said, well, let me tell you what happened. The Packer was broke. It's an assembly. It broke, so we replaced it. So Kyle said, and you added rubber? Yeah, we added rubber. Well, if you looked at the right front on going around the racetrack, the right front was sitting up, the splitter was about 2 inches off the ground. And Kyle was none too happy about that. If you all can tell, we all know Kyle. So anyway, so they as the race progressed, they didn't have time to go in and repair that on the right front. So they had to try to compensate with the rear of the car to get the front down, or truck to get the front down a little bit. And never could really get it. He'd run about 10 laps and truck tighten up ridiculous. He chattered real bad, vibration real bad after about 10 laps. So could never really get that, but he passed a pile of trucks. He did. But even more impressive, in my opinion, Kyle's run his truck a lot. Kyle knows his trucks a lot. Seeing Chase Elliott come in there, hadn't run a race since Martinsville, which I don't know if you all know, but Martinsville is a whole hell of a lot different than Charlotte.
Hadn't run a truck race in
it's 2017, I think.
2017.
In 17, yeah, in Martinsville.
Yeah.
Which he won, but for him to come in there with a crew and a crew chief and a truck that he has not run, doesn't know them guys, hadn't worked with them guys, and to come in and do that and they work together like they did and adjust on the truck to get it where it needed to be, that's pretty impressive.
Oh, it was very impressive, and he about the bow there.
I love it. A little.
It's funny because to hear Sterling say he loves it because he's a big Kyle Busch fan. Actually,
I like Kyle, I do, but I love it. I like Chase too, but I love the fact that and we all saw. I hope everybody Kyle was none too happy, and he was a poor sport about it. He blamed it on broken parts. He blamed it on this or that or the other, whatever. But bottom line is he got beat. And, he talked crap about him on the scanner before before the interview, you know, he said, "A one-hit wonder, you know, comes up here and wins, and this, that, and the other." Well, I hate to tell you, but Chase has had his number in any car he's been in the past about 3 or 4 weeks.
Ain't that true?
So he needs to be thinking about that for sure. But Chase is none to throw shade at by no means. Chase is a very good race car driver, and
he can get a little bit of luck on his side. I hope this is kind of turning his luck around.
I really hope,
because I'm gonna tell you, everything has been nothing of his making. That's the thing,
right? Chase is very talented, and he listening to him on the scanner, and y'all need to do, like I said, y'all need to get that NASCAR app. Is very inexpensive, and you can get it. It's unfiltered. You can listen to the whole thing. There's 2 channels that they have on there. It's the channel from the crew chief to the spotter, and the spotter to the driver. You get all that, so you get to hear everything. Mostly, I'm sure they got another channel that we can't hear or whatever, but it is really cool. So y'all definitely need to check that out. But listening to Chase, he's so soft spoken, and he's so kind of he puts the blame on himself all the time. I mean, a lot of times it's kind of what the crew does, and or doesn't do or whatever. But he seems to always find a way to make that car handle to his favor and drive to the front. So it's pretty cool hearing and seeing that. But just like the end of this truck race, with 10 to go, he was tight. He was tight, but he was giving it all he had. And he would slack up a little bit. He'd cool his tires off, and he'd go back there and he'd run 0.2 seconds faster. Yeah. So it's pretty neat watching him and listening to them guys. But again, proud to see that. Proud to see the bounty go to a good cause. He's going to go to a good cause either way. But anyway, pretty neat to see that. We had a lot of racing in a short amount of time, and I love it. I love seeing it. A whole lot. I love seeing weekly racing. I'm all for it. There ain't nothing better to me than not have to worry about coming home and watching damn basketball or tennis. And no offense against baseball. I love baseball. I like watching the Braves play. But I don't want to watch them 18 days a week. I would like to watch racing at least more than twice a week.
I'm telling you.
So put the trucks on Wednesday night. Put the cup cars on Wednesday night.
Well, I really hope, I really, 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 really hope that NASCAR and Fox and NBC and all these that have stake in this realize with all this going on, people like to see this on Wednesday night. I'm not against I personally think now most races, now there's some key ones that we need to keep certain lengths. Most races are too long. I personally think we can almost put a weekly Wednesday night cup race on almost, at 300 miles, and it makes for a perfect show. It makes it so much better.
Yeah, there ain't no doubt about it.
And I don't know, maybe they'll see that, and maybe they'll see the response from it. They got to be. They got to be hearing us. That's why we're constantly preaching it on here, and it's being preached on a lot of other shows and stuff.
They're seeing it. Well, the only downfall about that to me is right now it's perfect because the only interaction they're getting is via television.
Right.
The only setback is weekly racing. You got to take the chance of having fans be able to take off work, to travel, to camp, to participate, to be in the stands for that race.
Well, I agree with you, but
at the same time, you got baseball weekly. You got Monday night football.
Exactly.
You got Thursday night football, and you look at those stands and they're packed full. So people's going to take their time. People's got vacation. They're going to take it. Okay. Bristol night race is set for next year, next Wednesday or next on a Wednesday night in August. Okay. Guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to take Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday off, whatever.
Yeah, I mean that's what NASCAR fans, especially that is what NASCAR fans do.
And that's
we schedule our vacations around, or just racing fans, not NASCAR fans, but just racing fans. We scheduled just like we did it the first year. We scheduled our vacation around racing.
Daytona Speed Weeks.
We went to Daytona Speed Weeks. Went and watched a whole bunch of dirt racing. Went even to the Cup track. We watched a whole lot of racing because that's what we want to do on our vacations.
Right. So I don't think the setback's going to be anything to do with weekly. So I really think it's not going to set back the spectators there. I don't think it's going to set back that much.
No.
I think it's going to help the TV because a lot of times during the week or during the weekend on Saturday midday, on Sunday midday, where are you at? You ain't at home. You out doing things with your family, or on Sundays you're out at church or whatever. You're not at home to be able to watch.
And just like we do sometimes, especially on a Sunday afternoon or something, and we might turn the race on. Don't get me wrong, we may do that, but there's a lot of people do get together. We grill out, families come around doing things, and sometimes the race kind of gets pushed off because we're with the family, we're the kids we're playing baseball out in the yard because that's the day we have off. Wednesday nights, when you get home from work, you're tired, you're ready to chill out, you take you a shower, sit back in your chair like you do, watch first 10 laps, fall asleep, and then watch the last 5. But
hey, you know what? Hey, what it is, you know what I'm saying?
But no, I mean,
I love it.
But I would love that. I'd love that because that's time you can actually sit down and watch a race.
I'm all for it, man. I wish they would do it. I would love to see them show up on a Wednesday night or show up open. I mean, like we said, one-day event. Open the gates, 12 o'clock Wednesday. I don't care where they're at. Darlington. Open the gates, 12 o'clock Wednesday. 3 o'clock, give them a 30-minute practice session. 5 o'clock, give them qualifying. 7 o'clock, they're racing.
Right.
That's it. That's all they need. You don't
need
anything else.
No.
You don't need 14 rounds of practice an hour long, but you don't need that. They don't need it anymore.
It's not that hard at all. I mean, I don't.
Those cars are ready to go when they leave.
I haven't understood for years why they're there at the track for 3 days.
It does not make sense.
It don't make sense.
The only thing they're doing, in my opinion, is taking more money out of the fans' pockets. That's the only thing they're doing. Let's charge for this. Let's charge for that. Let's charge for this. Let's charge for that. Let's charge 18 days worth of camping for one race. We don't need that. Let's show up. Let's show up the night before if you want to. Let's camp. Great. Let's stay that day. Let's watch the race. Let's camp that night. Let's go home.
I say that's where dirt cars, Lucas Oil, World of Outlaws, they've got it figured out. If they tell you it's a 3-day show, guess what? It's a 3-day show. There is racing.
There's racing
every night.
There's racing
or every afternoon or whatever.
That's right.
I mean, and yeah, I know NASCAR said, well, there might be a truck race, and there's an Xfinity race, and there's.
Well, then you don't need to let them other cars get on the racetrack.
Well, but my problem is, let's compare this to dirt racing. All right. Say there is one main race every day, just as there is in both of them. Well, the problem is that one main race in NASCAR, it didn't have 10 heat races. It didn't have C mains. It didn't have B mains where you get your ticket's worth at a dirt track. I just feel like at an asphalt or a NASCAR race now, you're just not getting your tickets worth out of your race. Yeah, you get a longer race, but is that much more exciting?
No, I like the way they're going with it now, and I hope they continue that way. I think it'll make for a lot better ticket. I think it'll make for a lot cheaper ticket. When you don't have to pay people to sell hot dogs for 15 days straight, those tickets are going to be cheaper.
Well, they got to be. They got to be. And they've seen the trend that something's got to change.
Right.
Or it's going to look just like it does now. There's not going to be any fans at the track. You watch on TV, there's not going to be any fans at the track because nobody can afford to go to keep on the way they're going.
Right. So I like the way they're going. I hope they continue to go that way. Hey, we're going to see what happens, but I like seeing the racing. I know there's a whole lot of racing going on right here at one time. They're trying to catch up. But I love it. I love seeing it, and I hope it continues that way. I really think they're seeing it. I really think they're paying attention to that. So hopefully it'll work.
Well, speaking of racing and more racing in the middle of the week, as we were just talking dirt cars, Lucas Oil Super Late models started back, and they essentially did what they said was a season restart almost. They're keeping the points from the other races, but they've gone back to Golden Isle Speedway and going back to East Bay. And man, they've put up there, no fans in stands there either, but man, they've put on some good racing.
Damn good racing.
And they've showed it for free.
Thank the Lord. I think they might have been listening to us because we talked crap about that.
We sure did.
So I think they've been listening to us. I hope it sticks.
I'm not saying I don't want anybody to make money. I'm not saying that. But $50 for one race is too much.
It's too much.
$30 for one race is too much.
Like we said before, you subscribe to Lucas Oil TV. Okay? It's wonderful. Whatever it is, $30 a month. Okay? You can't even watch those races.
No, it just gives you
those
the opportunity
extra.
to then pay for that race.
So, I mean, okay, I'll pay $30 a month, but let me watch those races.
Exactly.
I mean, that's fair. So, but anyway, we take full advantage. It's free. Got a race on tonight, East Bay, night number 3.
Yep, night number 3, East Bay. This finishes up the restart here, and then they're going to go back to some more tracks that I have them now. Lucas Oil's kind of doing it right, I think. I mean, don't get me wrong, they're kind of doing what NASCAR did. Is pretty much we're going to go wherever we can race.
Right.
World Outlaws is trying to kind of still follow the schedule, and I understand that because they got contracts with these tracks and stuff like that. I understand it, but man, get some racing on the track. First night, super good racing. Track has been, Golden Isle, it seems like that track has been heavy the last few years. Real heavy. The daggone Newport Nightmare, Jimmy Owens, did it to him again, just as he did in Speed Weeks when we were there.
I'm telling you, man, his forward bite, his track slicks off.
I'm telling you, he rode in third place for about half the race. All of a sudden, you see him just I don't know, like he hit nitro or something. He all of a sudden starts coming off the corner and takes second over. All of a sudden, a few laps later, he's coming out the corner and just gaining car lengths on him just constantly. He finally passes, I think it was Overton that night for the lead, and just took off from him. And man, he's got something figured out. Now the next night, I think Kyle Bronson come up and won it. He was running good. He had some trouble the first night, but he come from the back of the field the first night all the way up to like 5th or 6th.
Yeah, he runs good there in the East Bay for sure. He always has.
Yeah, that's kind of his home tracks, I guess you would say. And Bronson's good there. Third night, Josh Richards come up and won at Golden Isle. So 3 nights, 3 different winners. Good racing the whole time, and hope y'all watched all that on Lucas Oil on their Facebook page when they had it live at, and if not, you can go back and watch it right now. It's still on there. So check it out because there was some good racing. East Bay, I think, who do we say?
I think Jonathan Davenport won.
Jonathan Davenport won the first night.
And
Overton won, didn't he?
Yep. Brandon Overton
won second night.
Last night. So, and they got another one live right now. Everybody's watching it. Hopefully, it'll be tomorrow when y'all hear this. But hopefully, everybody's watching, checking it out. Take full advantage of the free viewership while you can.
Exactly. One more thing. Talk about dirt racing over this past weekend. Kyle Larson was back in the car, and man, did he show up and show out. He there at I-55 went up and put up a new track record. I think he ran a 9.995 around that track. It looked like it was unbelievable. It looked like somebody put it on fast forward. The video.
Unbelievable. I don't know how he focused. I don't know how you can.
And he was talking about he was riding around there looking up at the scoreboard.
Oh yeah.
How you?
Yeah, he said the first lap he saw the scoreboard on the first lap, knew he'd already set fast time, so he just give it all he had on the last lap, see if he could break track record. I was like, well, we got to talk about how you do. So
it was insane.
That's impressive. But yeah, like you said, he did say something about kind of his future. Didn't really
nothing definite, but
nothing definite. But he did kind of say, he was kind of looking forward to making a name for himself in the Outlaws.
Well, he said it meant a lot to him that World of Outlaws stuck behind him through all this.
Right, that's right. So, I know that's kind of his end game. He's always said that he wanted to run full-time Outlaws at some point. I don't know if this is going to be it. I don't know if this is what he wants to do and finish out his career in that. But as of right now, I think that's his best chance. He can make a good living doing it. That's for sure.
Yeah, definitely can. So, and I'm gonna tell you what though, he was about in tears the other night after he won it, and he was just very appreciative to everybody. And it sucks all what happened to him. I said that from the beginning. It completely sucked what happened to him, and yes, he did wrong, but to try to kill the man's career over it,
well, it wasn't
I don't agree with that.
Anybody. And I've always said that. I don't think it fits the punishment. I really don't. I just don't. My opinion. I mean, it's wrong what he did. Of course, if it was directed to someone, yes, that's wrong, by all means.
Right.
But to be picking around with your buddy, I can call my buddy whatever the hell I want to call him. I don't. That's our business. And that was theirs. So, but anyway, it's just I hope he can continue to row back to wherever he wants to go, whether it's staying in Outlaws, whatever it is.
Exactly. So it was really cool to see him win, and I'm glad he won, and I hope he goes there and just tears the doors off all of them and wins a pile more.
He's gonna do it, man. I know he will. The boy's good. He's good at anything, but he is amazing at open wheel sprint cars and the midgets and all that. He's unbelievable.
Well, you know who else is awesome with dirt cars and asphalt cars and every other cars in the world?
All of
them.
How about SRI?
SRI Performance. You
Well,
knew who it was. How about that? You get a star.
Hey, there ain't many of them that's got everything. There's not many of them, and SRI is definitely the number one.
Number one. Not only do they have stuff for your round track, dirt, or asphalt car, they have stuff for your diesel truck. They got everything. I mean, there's not a part that you can think of that SRI doesn't have or they can't get you. So,
yeah, it's nothing.
Nothing.
They got everything. And you look at them. They're even at the racetracks right now. They were at Darlington. They were at Charlotte. They're going to be at Bristol, I'm sure. They're there supporting. They're there trying to make sure everybody's got all the PPE equipment that they need for these NASCAR tracks. And right. They're everywhere. They're everywhere. So you're going to find them, whether they're on the internet, whether they're at the racetrack, wherever they're at, you're going to get them.
That's it. Tell you something they sent us over this week, and man, I kind of thought about seeing about getting us one of these. This is a cool deal. It's called a Sani Box. Sani Box. SANIBOXX. What it is a compartment, a cabinet, more or less, that is a helmet sanitizer. Do you know how many times I've been at a go-kart track?
Oh, God.
And my helmet, by the end of the night, just smelled god awful.
Or it still does right now.
It probably still does. It sit out there in the shop, it still smells awful. I mean, that was, 20 years ago. And it still smells awful. So, and I know you racers out there know that a new helmet smell is about just like a new car smell. It is the best thing you can put on your head. This Sani Box is a decontamination unit for your helmet. If what else do you need? You ain't got to do anything but throw your helmet in here, turn it on. That's it. They have single helmet units. They have 4 helmet units. And if you own a rental track or you got a track at your house like, we do, and you want a bunch of your buddies to come over and ride, you want to buy a bunch of helmets for your buddies to be safe out there, they got a 12 helmet box.
Wow.
That's a lot of helmets.
That's a lot of them.
When you go up to GoPro and all that stuff, this be the perfect unit for these guys.
I think GoPro needs to have one.
GoPro needs one. And,
I take my own helmet when I go, but when you go to GoPro, they give you little socks to wear, but you still got to wear their own helmet. So they need that. They
definitely do.
Definitely do.
So if you want one, give them a call for a quote, 704-662-5982, or find them at www.sriperformance.com.
All right, well, hey, I'm going to tell you what. I think this is to be the 3rd week now we've talked about these sneeze shields here, stock car steel. I'm telling you, there's a lot of places around here. Not necessarily where we're at, South Carolina, but there's a lot of places that's requiring these. There's a lot of places won't even allow you in their store without a face mask on.
Yeah.
Without a face mask on.
Yeah, they're weird.
Crazy. But I'm going to tell you, the Sneeze Shield 2.0. You guys.
New and improved design.
The new and improved. I didn't think it could get much damn better than it was. I really don't. I'm telling you right now. I mean, 100% Lexan, transparent. You can see everything you want to see. I mean, it's like it's HD. You see everything.
My only problem is with it is I'm probably going to walk into the thing because it is so transparent.
You can't see it. They need to put a little sticker in the corner that says Stock Car Steel Sneeze Shield, so you can't walk into it because you're going to go into it because you can't even see it. I'm telling you. They're all customizable. Anything you want. They're $100 starting. The standard size 36 inches by 32. So they're $100 for those. So it hadn't changed. But like I said, they've done some upgrades a little bit here and there, make them a little better. Not that they weren't great to start with, but I'm just telling you. Now, there's no tools required. You just put all the thing together, whatever you want to do. It's only 3 pieces total. Simple. Anybody can do it. You can buy them up, and whoever wants to put them up. So, like I said, you just need to check them out. I got an idea, and maybe they're going to listen to me.
Maybe it'll be the 3.0?
I think it's going to be the 3.0. You're going to look for this pretty soon. I think they need to put tear-offs on them bad boys. So that way, when somebody comes up and they sneeze, or they cough, or they whatever, pull the tear-off off and they keep on rolling, son.
Put your gloves on, pull the tear-off off and go.
You ain't got to wind ace it. You ain't got to do nothing. You got to squeeze it. You ain't got to do nothing. Just pull the tear-off off, keep on rolling, son. That's what it's all about, Stock Car Steel. Check them out. 888-752-7272. www.stockcarsteel.com.
We just talked about Jimmy Owens on smoking them at Golden Isle.
Yes, sir.
And getting that forward bite.
Yes,
I think I figured out why he gets that forward bite.
I know why he gets that forward bite.
I'm going to go with Draco Springs.
I guarantee you that's what it is.
Purple Springs under that car.
I promise you.
He is dominating off the corner. They figured out that spring package.
Yep.
And he's rolling.
He is rolling.
Suspension is the name of the game in dirt cars, period. That's the name of the game. And you can't get any better than Draco Springs.
Y'all go out there and buy you some of them Purple Springs, and I'm going to tell you what.
You need your Purple Springs.
You ain't going to find them no better. Go get them.
So, if you want your Purple Springs, you want to get your forward bite off the corner like Jimmy Owens does, go check out SRI Performance. Go to their website, www.sriperformance.com, and follow the links to Draco Springs. Give them a call. They can customize anything you need.
Anything you want. I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's a remote control car. I guarantee they can make you some Draco Springs.
They'll make you springs.
They can make them for you.
That is their business. They know how to do it, and they know how to do it well.
And they got it going on, and they win races. Go get you some springs.
So, for all things racing.
Everything.
All things racing.
All of it. The number one.
iRacing, NASCAR, dirt car.
I run Draco Springs on my dirt street stock on iRacing.
I was just hoping you wouldn't run them on your boats yet. But
It's
they
possible.
might.
Hey.
It is possible.
I'll put some Draco Springs on my cooler to hold the top up. You never know.
There you
probably
go.
can get some.
There you go.
They got it all. Go check them out. I know we was picking around a little bit. Go check them out. They're awesome. Absolutely right. They got everything you need. Doesn't matter what it is. The PPE equipment, no matter what, whatever. They got it. Don't matter. Go get it.
Check them out. www.sriperformance.com. Well, we got something pretty cool coming up tonight. This guy coming up, he's not in a race car, so we're doing something a little bit different.
Well, it's kind of like us in a way. You know, I mean, we're fans of racing. I mean, we've done the race and we've done that, but we're fans of it.
And we're definitely fans. So, well, I tell you what, just before we get into it much farther, let's just go straight to the phone line and let him explain it to you. So, let's go to the phone. All right, ladies and gentlemen, on the phone now, we have the creator of the new Checkered app. They are a new social media racing app. We have the creator on the phone, Mr. Chris Muller. Chris, how's it going, buddy?
It's going well, guys. Hey, thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Oh, we appreciate you being here, man. And this app is cool. It's getting kicked off. You've been on about a month now, and it seems to be taking off. I like it.
Yeah, thanks. We're really excited. It's catching traction, and you know, every day we check our numbers and our metrics, and it's growing, and it's you know, all the numbers you want to see going green are green, and that sort of thing. So we're happy as a company, but it's like you said, it's only been a month, and I want to thank you guys for being on board since real early. You're one of our first, and your involvement has meant the world to us, and so I really appreciate it and want to say thank you. But yeah, coming up on pretty much 1,000 downloads, and people are getting in there and mixing it up and interacting, and we couldn't be happier with where it's going.
That's absolutely awesome, man. Before we get into too much about why we're here, about the app, I want to go back a little farther. Let's tell everybody a little bit about you. Where did you, in racing wise, how have you been involved in racing, and just tell everybody about you, more or less.
Sure. Yeah. You know, I honestly wasn't really exposed to racing until my early 20s, you know, back in the early 90s, if I'm going to date myself here. But my best friend in a wedding and vice versa and such, he went off and he built himself a, you know, late model Camaro dirt track car, and put himself through Brett Hearn's racing school in Orange County in Middletown, and he started racing up there. And so, as a friend would do, I started jumping in the truck and going up on weekends with him here and there, and kind of helping him. And I was just floored by the whole spectacle of what racing was, and the size and the sounds, and more importantly, the people in and around racing. So we did that for a few summers together, and then life caught up to us. We had kids and what have you, and he sold his car. But, you know, his wife actually worked for the Nashville network, which, if you guys remember way back when,
yeah.
they were the NASCAR, you know, broadcast channel on cable. So his wife would get us tickets. We'd go to Dover in New Hampshire and things like that, and catch races. But they kind of fell off, you know. But then I'm somewhat of a frustrated screenwriter, content creator, blah, blah, blah. Some people out in Hollywood I know asked me to create some original content around a new country music station or channel they were starting. And so I thought, oh, wow, you know, dirt track, that's country music's sweet spot right there. So that was in 2012. Spent that summer in the pits at Middletown, Accord, and some other tracks up in New York State. And that's when I really, the hook was in me, you know, with especially the people around racing. Listen, I'm not a racer. I don't race cars. I don't drive. I've been in race cars before, and I appreciate the scale and the beating your body takes when you're racing, but I'm more a people person, and the people around racing are what really drives me and what's kind of led me to where I am with this business. But yeah, got to know the people in and around racing in 2012 and been around it ever since.
That's cool, man. That's really cool. Well, moving on up to present day, how did the concept for this app come along, and how did Checkered become?
Yeah, so back when I was trying to get that show sold, it didn't get picked up, which happens. But I made some really good relationships in racing, and social media was a thing by then, and kind of stayed connected with it. And I come from a family business. We were water well drillers growing up, and there was a really rainy spring back in 17ish, 16, 17ish, and I was looking at all these tracks underwater. There was really a wet spring, and I said, hey, that's a family business that's not going to make their number. Is there any way we can help them? And I was working with a bunch of tech coders and nerds and things. I said, is there any way we can let technology help these people in racing? And crowdfunding had become a thing back then, GoFundMe, Indiegogo, and that sort of thing. So I started talking to the people I knew in racing about it, and they're proud. They're like, I don't really want to do a GoFundMe campaign, because when you hear something like that, people think someone's sick or, something tragic happened to them. I said, well, what if we gave you the same opportunity in a platform, but we called it something different and made it strictly for racing? And they said, yeah, that kind of sounds cool. So we created and wrote a platform called Pit Fund, which is still out there now. It is basically GoFundMe just for racing. And it's worked really well for some people, but for others, they start these campaigns and they ask for all this money, and then they think, the racing fairies are going to come along and drop money in their accounts. And it just doesn't work that way. There's a lot of legwork and effort that it takes to kind of fund yourself on those platforms. So we gave them a good way to raise money, and they wanted it and they responded to it, but the follow through wasn't there. So I wasn't going to give up. I said, there's still good people in racing in and around it that we can help through technology. So I said, what if we were to make a social media outlet for them that was strictly racing, where you can go and kind of escape from what I call big social, the Facebooks and the Twitters and Instagrams of the world, where you're kind of bombarded today with, first of all, amazing amounts of crazy ads that, you talk to your uncle about his hip replacement and all of a sudden you're getting ads about hip replacements, but then also the politics and, the worry and the data scares and, cat videos and pictures of food and blah, blah, blah. What if I could give you a world where you could just go out and kind of immerse yourself in racing? And so we created Checkered, which is a lot like Instagram, where it's very visual, pictures, videos, YouTube videos, whatever you want to do to connect with it, great. But we just wanted to make sure that it's about racing. But getting back to my core mission on this whole thing about helping racing, and back to the Pit Fund days, we decided to make it a subscription model where it's about 8 cents a day, but we take a good portion of that, and the model is we are creating purses for racetracks. So let me ask you guys, what are your home tracks? What would you say your home track is?
Well, we got
all right, Florence Motor
just
Speedway,
one.
Dillon Motor Speedway, just
yeah.
Okay.
Dillon Motor Speedway.
So Dillon Motor Speedway, great. We've talked to them. We're in talks with them right now. So when you sign up for Checkered to join the community, there's a step in your profile creation where you designate a track that you want to, for lack of a better term, sponsor. So when Dillon Motor Speedway hits 250 designations of people, Checkered as a company is going to start sending them a check every month for a purse, right?
Sweet.
So it's in. I'll tell you why we do that in a second, but determined off the size of the following or the designation on Checkered for a track determines the size of the purse that we're going to send to them every month. Now, the reason we came up with this idea, we could have gone the regular app, Silicon Valley way of put an app out there, get a bunch of people in the barn, and then start selling advertising to them. I said, no, I don't want to do that because that's kind of obnoxious, and I want to respect the people on the app and in the racing community. But I said, there's a way we can take this and help racing, what I call the catch-22 of racing, which is, you guys have seen this. It's low car count, low purse, low car count, right?
Oh, yeah.
So we think that by 8 cents a day per subscriber, we can then build the purse side of it. And it's what we call the Checkered model, which is a trickle up financial model where you get a bigger purse at a track. You're going to get more cars. So
That's right.
The track gets more entry fees, right?
Yep.
Each car is going to bring along with them 3 to 5 spectators or fans or crew or whatever. So then what? That's more pit passes and more ticket sales. And then
Absolutely.
more hot dogs, more sodas. And if you have more cars, well, then your photographers and videographers are going to get more, pictures sold or hero cards sold or what have you. And then guys like you, there's going to be more listeners to your podcast. So we really think by seeding racing with this 8 cent a day subscription, we can really make a huge impact on these tracks, which then waterfalls into everyone in and around that certain track. Right. So, have I lost you? Does it make sense?
No, it makes perfect
I speak a little
sense.
fast when I get excited.
No, it makes perfect sense. It's great. I mean, I love the idea. I love the platform of what y'all are doing, and like you said, it can do nothing but help.
Right.
And we've all seen it. We got local tracks here that late model racing. They'll pay $500 to win, and there's 5-6 cars show up. And if you can promote a race and say, okay, there's $5,000 to win, you're going to have 30 cars. So it makes perfect sense. I mean, if you get the purse up, you're going to have more cars, you're going to have more people anywhere around it. That is for sure.
Right. So the people, everyone in racing, in and around racing is on social media anyway, right? So everyone's on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and that sort of thing. So the first step is provide them an outlet that's just racing to kind of thumb through and, peruse and post and interact on a social thing. But man, for 8 cents a day, you wouldn't help your local track kind of get this thing up and going. Right. And so far, so good. The numbers are showing, pretty well. We've got some really solid names, especially in dirt track and sprint car. World on board, like Rico Abruz, he's a pretty frequent poster. Awesome guy, by the way. If you ever get a chance to talk to that guy, I highly recommend it. Just an awesome energy
really cool,
person. Brock Zierfoss, he's in, and Dietrich, and all these other guys. And then we're bringing along Anthony Perego and the mods, and Tyler Dipple and stuff. And we're just so excited to see it start to take hold. And we've got some really good quotes. The press releases are strong. But, man, it's only been a month, and we think check back with us in a month or two. This thing is going to be roaring.
Absolutely, man.
Oh, yeah, I definitely believe it is. And because we've been on there for a little while ourselves, and it's great for us because, when I, just comparing it a little bit, when I post something on Facebook, we have to post it to all these crazy groups or we don't get any views on it. Well, we post it on Checkered. And that's
everybody
all we have to do.
Checkered.
And everybody is looking for racing on there.
Exactly.
So they see it. So it's amazing.
Great point. I think it might have been Dietrich that mentioned that in the last press release. It's great for their marketing partners because they're reaching the exact audience they want to connect with. And, we're not doing third-party ad servers right now. That's not the plan ever, because when we do take on some kind of sponsorship or, maybe some kind of advertising on Checkered, we are adamant about that. We want to make sure that it's relative to racing.
Absolutely.
So, we're trying not to put cat litter on or anything stupid like that. I made a joke the other day on a podcast, like, and you're not going to see beer accounts. But then I said, you know what? No, yeah, you might see beer on here because that's racing. Let me take that back. I'll take a beer ad any day because I know racing people, and that would speak to them for sure. But
absolutely,
everything we do, guys, is user racing first. So I talk about the metrics, and I look at them every morning to see where we are and how things are going, but I'm not focusing on that right now. My main focus and the message to the team is we need to make this product as good as possible. So we listen to the users, and people make suggestions about new groups, and we hustle to get that up and going. User interface and experience, can always be tweaked and made better, and we're committed to make that better every time because it is your community. I said in an interview not too long ago that we're the platform. Who are we to dictate what this thing should look like or act like for the racing community? We want to hear from the racing community and say, hey, this is what we want. Here's what we think will make most sense. And we're all ears. We want to, there's no ego in this thing. When I say community, it really is a community. It's not a hierarchy. That's for sure.
Right.
That's awesome.
That's the thing I love about it. And like us, we are race fans, and that's why we wanted to start this podcast, is to give, from what we think, a different perspective, a fan's perspective of the world of racing. And so the cool thing I like about the app is, fellow racers can join, and also fans can join as well and see all their favorite guys and kind of follow and see what they're doing. But you speak about groups, and I love that too. Is you have different groups of different type series in racing, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We're I wanted to make this an all-encompassing, because the one thing that racing people have in common is passion. They have a passion for racing, right? And it doesn't matter if you race go-karts in the UK, sprint cars in Australia, drag race in Montana, or motocross in, California. Everyone has that one fire in them that, we know this sport does nothing but break your heart and take your money.
Absolutely.
It's just what it is. But there's something that drives a racer and a race fan and a sponsor or whoever drives them to be involved in racing.
Yep.
And that's a passion for the sport. It's uncanny. It's unlike anything I've ever seen. I grew up playing football, hockey, and baseball, and yeah, you get done, you have a beer after a softball game. That's great. But you had mentioned earlier about the guys, build late models and stuff. And that's the person I think of with the whole purse idea. It's that guy working in his garage late on a Thursday, busting his knuckles to turn a wrench on his late model, dirt car to get it to the track on the weekend. And man, if we can make that purse bigger, or at least give him a glimmer of hope that he might be able to bring some money home with him, to kind of continue his passion to next week. That is why I'm doing this. That, the podium people, they're going to be there.
That's right.
You're going to get your top 4, top 5 guys every week. We don't dictate to the tracks how they use the purse money. That's not what we're trying to do. But man, in my mind, I would love to see that get down to P5 and beyond.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
Those are the passion people.
Oh yeah, that's actually exactly what we did.
Yeah.
A couple of weeks ago.
P13, baby.
There was the first race at one of the local dirt tracks. I told them, I said, here, throw $50 in. They had a big 4-cylinder race, sport compact 4-cylinder front wheel drive. I said, here's $50. Pay it to the 13th place finisher. Whoever's lucky 13,
they had like
here you
30
go.
something entries. It was a big old race. I mean,
oh man, that's cool. That's very cool. You know,
awesome.
I love those guys. You know, show up with the stingers or whatever you want to call them.
Right.
The front wheel drive 4-cylinder guys. They get out and just beat the hell out of each other.
Oh yeah.
Exactly.
But man, that's racing, and you know they're gonna get there. And if you don't mind, I'll jump quickly to what's coming up in this summer, which
Please
is
do.
Checkered TV, which is our next kind of tech thing that we're working on, other than the daily UX tweaks and things. But we have the ability to stream content, right? So we're not going to be in the business of streaming races. That's not what we're trying to do. There's some people out there who do that really well. We'll let them handle that. Maybe we can partner with them, but right now we'll leave that to them. But you know, back to my whole frustrated film student in college, I'm always creating shows and things, and we've got a couple in the works that we're going to start casting for. And real quick, if you don't mind, I'll give you some recaps.
Sure, go ahead.
They're pretty cool. One is an animated. When I say show, I mean webisodes, so between 3 to 5 minutes a episode. But one is called Marbles. You know, if you're in racing, you know what Marbles is. But that's the main character. He's somewhat Bart Simpson-ish, but you know, somewhere between The Simpsons and King of the Hill.
Sweet.
We're going to animate this series. He's a racer, but the cool thing about it is we're going to crowdsource funny stories from the racing world. So if you know, we'll take in stories about what happens to some people when they're racing or what have you, and then we can dictate the storyline to match up with Marbles and his, you know, group collective of racing. Another one is we're really psyched about, and we think we're right there with the tech. But have you guys watched that show, Live PD?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Right.
About
So
every
just
night.
how they go around the country to different counties of law enforcement agencies, we're going to set up GoPros and cameras in different garages around the country. And on Thursday nights, we're going to go around. Thursday, Friday nights, we'll go around to these different groups of people trying to get their cars or bikes or snowmobiles or whatever ready to race on the weekend. And we think that's going to be hilarious, because I've been in those garages and I've been around blue collar people who, you know, and this is one show that I mandated that we will not censor, because the humor is in the curse words. You know, that's where the gold is, right? So we think that show's a real winner. But another one that we're putting together that really comes up on the whole idea of Checkered and my mentality of giving back to racing is, we don't even have a name from it yet, but follow me on this. Let's say you have a kid who races karts, you know, somewhere in America or UK or wherever. Kid's got talent, but may not have the means, right? Or really struggling to get to the track every time. Let's say we found him a really top-notch wrencher, guy who builds a kart, or even, you know, when you get up into dirt modifieds or something. Let's say we partnered with Teo and those guys. You know, we'll tell the story of the racer and the passion and show the human side of it. But then what if everyone in the community donated one part to a kart or to a dirt car or what have you?
Goes a long way.
And then that mechanic puts that vehicle together, and at the end of the 4 or 5 episodes, this person who's got skill, passion, drive, you know, has earned the right to have something new and fast, gets that vehicle. You know, that's something that's keeps me up at night because it makes me happy. You know, that's going to be a really good show.
Oh, it definitely will. There's talent every day that gets wasted just because they don't have the means of having the equipment. So
that's right.
Yeah.
That's
and going back, you know, I know the racing community and how helpful and thoughtful they are to each other. You know, I've been in the pits and seen one racer put another in the corner in a heat, but then he's the first one to turn a wrench to make sure that they're both in the main, you know.
That's right.
Or, you know, here's an extra fuel line or what have you. So I know the heart, and that's what really drew me to the sport of racing was the people. Not the sport is great and it's exciting. Last lap strategy, when to take tires, when to take gas. I get it, but it's really the people in the mom pop people that support each other, and it's a strange mindset, but we all have it once you find it.
That's right, and it's like I've said before. The racing community as a whole we might be fighting one weekend, but we're really just one big dysfunctional family.
That's it.
Isn't it great?
It's awesome.
Great? Yeah.
It is absolutely awesome.
Yes.
Well, going back to the app for 1 minute, if you can, I know it's a little hard to describe without pictures and stuff, but if you can, kind of describe the layout of the app and what all's on there and how you navigate it a little bit, if you can.
Yeah, sure. So the when you join and you log on, there is the normal feed that you would expect to see on an Instagram or a Facebook or a Twitter or whatever. That's what we call the straightaway, right? So everything that's posted in the different groups populates to that, and I'll get back to that in a second. But just remember, there's that straightaway where everything populates. So then there are groups. So there are certain groups for kind of focused interests. So there's dirt modified, there's karting, there's motocross, there's hill climb, there is lawnmower, racing, which is really cool. And just the list goes on and on and on. There's 30, 40 groups right now. There's also a group for track operators and promoters. There's also a group for vendors. There's all that sort of thing. So let's say you're a track operator and you just want to come on to Checkered and interact with other track operators. You would, go into that group and you would post there, and you can reach out and ask questions and look for help and, feedback and things. And you would find that just in that group's feed. But anything you post in that group's feed also posts to the straightaway. So, and then if you are just a drag racing enthusiast and you go in, there's a drag racing group. And so that feed is just all drag racing. But if you were to post in drag racing, it not only shows up in the drag racing group, it also populates into the straightaway. And there's a reason we built it like that. So, you want to go in, you just want to live in your world of drag racing, you got it. It's right there. You're surrounded by it, and that's all you're seeing and interacting with. That's fine. But what I liked and really has my thumb on is the straightaway, because I wanted people to share the experience and what I call, cross-pollinate each other in terms of their racing passion. So in that straightaway, you're going to see a lawnmower kid, post something about his race this weekend from Florida, and the next next post might be, hey, I'm in the UK and I'm a sidecar enthusiast, and here's my bike, check it out, and so on. So, you can thumb through at the bus stop or whatever you're doing just to see all different kinds of racing at all different levels with all different roles and responsibilities, but it's racing. It's only racing. So it's really cool, because we also see that a lot of people, especially a lot of dirt track racers ride motocross. I don't know why, Definitely. But it's true. They just do. And a lot of, quad racers, obviously you race snowmobiles in the winter, right?
That's right.
So that there's a lot of commonality there too, but we want to expose everyone to each other's passion. And that's why you guys have seen this. My kind of poke every day is like, hey, everybody, let's keep posting, let's prime this pump, get this thing going. And it's starting to come around, it's just a month. And believe me, there are a lot more people who are in the community than the ones that post, more than not. But it's starting to come around. Like today, I saw 3 to 4 or 5 different people who have never posted before start posting, and that really excites me.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's only going to get better with numbers.
It is. And the big thing is fortunately racing is coming back available around the country with all this virus deal, so it's gonna jump on pretty quick.
Everybody's all the racers. Let me show my buddy this when I get back to the track,
Exactly.
and so
yeah,
right.
Everybody's gonna jump on it.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's a strange time, it's, I don't know if, I won't call it a blessing because of what's going on, but um, opportune timing maybe, because we're talking to a lot more tracks and operators now than I believe we would on any normal,
Right.
May, June timeframe. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Because
yeah.
those people are pretty much
They'd be
underwater
packed right
every
now,
every
yeah.
week. But with the downtime, we're making some really good connections, which is good, and we'll build off that foundation. But you're right, as it comes back around, there'll be more to post, there'll be more interaction, and that's when you'll see this thing really take off.
Absolutely, man. I'm excited about it. I can't wait to see where it's going to be in a year. Just like us, we talked about it the other day. We decided to start this podcast. We ride around, we talk about racing. We've done it for years. We grew up racing ourselves, and we couldn't do it cost wise. But anyway, so we decided to start this thing up this year. Well,
Yeah.
as soon as we decided to start it, there starts to be a pandemic and shut racing down for so it's kind of like, well,
I know.
but
So
hey,
we've covered a lot of iRacing here lately.
yeah, we're gonna try to pull through it and make something of it, and I hope we can go right along with you guys and see what happens.
Well, I promise, as long as we're around, you're going to be a big part of it because, I'm a big Godfather movie fan, and I remember how to repay a favor. You know what I mean? So
That's right.
I'll do my best to make you successful as long as we keep interacting with each other and stuff. And, that's the other thing on Check It. I'm really trying to encourage people to, help each other, listen to each other's podcasts. Rico,
That's right.
put out, he sells some pretty good merch, but he's taken advantage of what's going on here, and he's put out those neck gaiters, the masks. Like up here in Connecticut, you got to wear a mask everywhere, right? Which is not fantastic, and I don't like putting things around my ears or whatever, so I've got one of those like neck gaiter things that you just pop up over your face and go rob a bank with.
There you
He
go.
came up with one that's got his number on it and American flag and RAR on it and stuff. I'm like, shit, that $20, I'll do that, and I'm encouraging everyone on Checker to go and do that too. And I want to encourage people to go out and support our photographers and support our podcasters like you guys. Why not? I mean, what could it hurt other than to try and help each other?
Well, that's the thing.
Absolutely.
Nothing is going to hurt anything in it. I mean, it's
We're
it's
all
all great.
We're all in it
We're
together.
in the same boat here.
Yeah.
We're all
Feels
we're
good
all
to do
wanting the
good.
greater good here.
Absolutely right.
So, well, that's a lot, and it's awesome. But it's awesome.
I want to say I appreciate you guys so much, and this is, back in Pit Fund, I did a lot of podcasts, and with this one, I'm coming up on maybe a dozen or something. But I've talked to you folks more than not offline and stuff, and I just really appreciate you and want to let you know that. But it's fun to get on a podcast where people, have a passion about what they do, and
That's right.
the fact that you guys even have this out there says a lot about you, because a lot of people just talk and wish and piss and moan and wait for the world to change for them. But you guys went out and did something, and I give you all the credit in the world.
We appreciate that,
Same
buddy.
here, man. You've from what I can hear, you've tried all different aspects of it, and you still got a passion for racing and still want to see it through, and I appreciate that for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. I got a passion for racing people. That's what I got a passion for. But yeah,
There you go.
absolutely.
There you go, and that is the business we're in. We're in the people business. We just want to talk to people.
Yeah.
We got to talk to somebody.
Believe me, the other stuff will come around. That's how I'm looking at this. And I have started things and done okay. I've failed at a lot more than that, but you learn every time. But if your heart's in the right place, I look at it this way: if I can wake up every morning and help people, then that's a pretty good day. That's how I want to be.
That's
Absolutely
right, man.
right.
That is absolutely right. And like you said, and we've said it before, we plug all kind of podcasts on here all the time, just because we're typically hour 20 minutes at most time.
Mm-hmm.
That's not much out of a week. You got plenty of more people to go listen to. So yeah, you just said, everybody go listen to any racing podcast you can find. Go listen to it, and
Sure.
and just like you, any racing app you can find, especially Checkered, join it, get on it, and support all the people that are supporting racing. That's what we got to do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
and I really think this financial model is right on the mark, guys. It will, it'll keep us going. It'll keep the lights on. And of course, we're capitalists, so we're trying to make a little bit of money, but it's a lot less than you think. And a good portion of it does go back into racing. And we think if we scale, or not if, but when we scale, that's when, we'll start seeing the fruits and benefits of it. But right now we'll take care of our people, take care of the sport, and in return, we'll get taken care of down the road.
Absolutely right. It's going to happen.
That's absolutely awesome. And, we're going to be right here with you through whatever. We're going to keep plugging you away. Every episode, as we always do anyway, so we're going to keep plugging you right along. And do what we can, do our part to help this grow, man.
Yeah, man, and make sure, we stay in touch. I want to get some shirts and stickers down to you guys, and make sure that we can match up somewhere in the summer, fall, or whatever. Come down, we'll get a beer and pick some dirt out of our beer. How about that?
Most definitely,
right, man. I'm for it.
Most definitely. Well, we sure do appreciate you giving us some time here and coming on and giving all the audience a little insight to Checkered there. And
yeah, definitely go check him out. It is well worth it. Like you said, 8 cents a day. So you're going to support your track. Go check him out. You're going to love it.
It's going to help
Couldn't
everybody.
say it better than myself. That was awesome.
Well, man, we sure do appreciate you giving us some time, and we will definitely be in touch with you.
Awesome. Thanks, fellas. Talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Later, man.
All right. Man, that was cool. I really appreciate Chris stopping by.
Absolutely.
Talking with us, and we definitely going to be talking with him a whole lot more.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. He explained everything very well. And I hope our listeners can definitely give him a chance. And like I said, take that little 8 cents a day. I mean, it's nothing, but it's supporting your local tracks. So,
well, that's the thing is the money's going back to the tracks.
That's right.
It's not like you're just throwing it away. I mean, that's the thing about
it's not like you're just paying it off to Instagram.
And it's not that much money. It's nothing. What's 8 cents a day?
It's nothing.
What is that?
I mean, so definitely go check him out. You can go on our Facebook page and find him there and follow the link or whatever. I'm sure there's something there.
Yeah, we'll share some stuff up there.
So you just check him out. But
yeah, they got a Facebook page also, and it forwards you to the link to go to the App Store. Whether you have a Apple or Android, it goes to the App Store. Download the Checkered link or download the Checkered app, and
yeah, it's really
talk
cool.
with us on come talk with us on there. We're on there. We hang out on there and post our stuff on there, and we try to post a little bit of everything as much as we can. And so y'all get on there with us and help this thing grow. Because I'm gonna tell you, just like Chris was saying, you don't see the cat pictures. You don't see Aunt Lucy's 7 children on there all the time. Don't get me wrong. There's a time and a place for that. But we're racers. We want to see racing stuff.
Exactly. I mean, you want to see racing. Like I said, the groups. Okay, you into dirt street stock racing. Okay, there's a group for that. If that's all you want to see, you go see that, and you can learn a lot about it throughout these guys that run these cars all over the world, wherever it's at. And it can help you out if you're into dirt street stocks as well. So that's. You can't beat it. So definitely go check them out. Help them grow. We're gonna keep that partnership going for a long time, and look forward to seeing him soon. Talk with him more.
We definitely will. Well, I'm gonna tell you what, man. It's been had a pretty long show here.
Yes, pretty long one, that's for sure, and a lot to talk about. I mean, when
I'm glad there's so much to talk about, so much racing.
Well, normally we have one cup race a week, and whatever. We had like 12 races this week, so there's a lot to talk about. But
I know we had talked about. We said, well, we might have to do 2 a week, but man, the way this schedule is, we're like, man, well, let's just stick it to one. We'll just talk about all of it in one episode.
Yeah, we'll be fine. We'll make it work out. Hey, if we miss some, oh well, so what? It'll be fine. But don't forget the cup race is going to be tonight. Y'all listening to this Thursday night, May the 28th, I think it's going to be. Check it out. 7 o'clock, I think, 7:30, whatever it is.
7 o'clock comes on FS1.
FS1, check them out. Watch it. It's going to be a dash race, so I think it's going to be a little bit more exciting than that 600. Y'all watch it.
I hope so. I really feel like it is. There ain't time to play around. Ain't time to sit back and lollygag.
That's what it's all about. I love it.
We're racing. So we really want to thank again. We want to thank Chris Muller with Checkered, the new social media racing app. We want to thank him for coming on. We want to thank Checkered for promoting our stuff, showing our stuff off to everybody, and y'all go check them out. We want to thank SRI Performance.
Stock Cross Steel, aluminum, picker spring. No, they're sweet, man. Thank y'all very much for giving us a chance again. Hey, y'all go check them out. They have got, like I said, got everything you need. You want to build a race car?
It all. One thing we didn't say, even in our advertisement there, we're going to say this again. Go on SRI Performance. A little secret for y'all. If y'all make it to the end of the episode here, go on SRI Performance. If you want to buy something, use the code CBONE10. Get you 10% off.
Yes, a C is in cat, bone is in bone. 10.
I was going to go see as in chicken, you know.
Well, I mean, that helps too. You know, I mean, it's one of the C's, you know. Hey, go check it out. Go get you something. 10% is a lot.
10% is 10%.
Go buy you a race car motor.
There you go.
See how much 10% is.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. Go get you something.
Anyway, we appreciate those guys. We appreciate you guys for listening to us.
Thank y'all very much. Keep on listening, please. Keep on sharing. Keep on liking. Keep on wishing. Whatever else, just do all of that.
Send us some comments. Y'all actually been heating it up on social medias lately. We've been getting a good bit of comments here lately.
Yeah, we've been.
I think last week's episode was a little.
Hey,
was exciting.
It was
for some people.
It was political somewhat, and people don't like that sometimes. That's okay. That's all right.
That's all right. That's fine. You can have your opinion.
That's right.
Just until you start cussing us out, then we're going to kick you off and block you.
Everybody's got assholes. I mean, everybody's got opinions. So, you know, it is what it is.
Oh, well, anyway, guys, I think that's it for us tonight. We appreciate y'all joining us, and I'm out.
Later.